To me, milk is the most perfect beverage. It is the most natural. It is the most nutritious. It has protein, it has vitamins, it has minerals. It is imperative that Floridians realize that we need to keep our agricultural industry whole. Our legislation knows it, and we just got to get the information out there, because once Floridians understand it, they're going to realize the same thing. I never realized that there were children that went to school and the meals that they had at school were the only meals that they had. I had no idea that was a reality, and it is.
If you've ever wondered about how our dairy industry works, how our farmers work, and actually how all of those amazing products get to the tables of those in need, this is the show for you. I personally am fascinated with how the cows are treated, and they get up every morning and they go to work. But we have our expert here. She has been here before, and we will link those shows in the notes below. But Andrea with M&B Dairy is here. And if you've ever seen Cool Cow at your kid's school or on a shelf, this is the company that provides that. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you, Shannon. It's so good to be here.
Anytime I think about farming in any way, I think of you first, because I think, it's been a couple of years now that we've been talking about this. And I've learned so much going out to your farm in Lecanto. You have a processing plant here that not just your dairy, but a number of dairies kind of work together, right? You
That's
process
exactly
for
right.
everyone, which
Yes,
I think is really interesting too. But first, let's start. I am fascinated with the life of a dairy cow. And I think we have some B-roll that we're going to run right now so you can actually see the comfort and care that is given to them. Tell us about what that's like and how you keep all those cows comfortable, working, feeling as important as they possibly can as beings.
I will do my best. So
Okay.
it starts when there's a beautiful little female Holstein calf born, and she is bottle fed for several months. She's treated like a princess until about 9 months before her second birthday, she becomes pregnant. And what we're doing is we're getting her ready to start working.
Yeah.
And about 2 years old is when a cow first has a calf.
Okay.
And when that happens, that's because that comes their first day of work, and they start going and being milked.
Okay.
And that happens for several months till about 80 days. We start trying to get her pregnant again.
Okay.
Then once she's pregnant, we're milking her throughout her pregnancy up and until about 2 months before she's due.
Okay.
For cows is about the same as people. It's 9 months. They're pregnant for about 9 months. 2 months before they calf, they go on a vacation. They have 2 months out in the field. They
Which
get
is
to
beautiful.
Eat. Yeah, yes, they get
In
to
Lecanto,
It
it's
is.
gorgeous.
It is. They get to eat and relax again until they calf again.
Okay. And then those calves, actually, I'm sorry, not the calves. Can you explain the process of the cows? So, for instance, it's not like they can just be milked when you feel like it, or milked when the demand is up, or not taken care of when the demand is down. So explain that process during the day and what that actually looks like from that cow.
We milk cows 3 times a day on a very specific schedule, 3 times a day. And every time that they go in to be milked, we have a double 12 parlor that they get milked in, and their feed gets refreshed.
Which a double 12 parlor is a contraption that is the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
So 12 cows go on each side in a parallel way. They go on each side of a recessed milking parlor, and they get milked at the same time. So we're milking 24 cows at one particular time.
Okay.
And that takes 10 minutes or so, give or take, just depending. They go, and another 24 come in.
Okay. And then their home, if you will, describe their home, because I think that's...
is a beautiful place. So their home is not too much different than ours, right? They've got a roof over their head. They have fresh feed in front of them every single feeding. And there's misters, there's fans, anything to keep those cows comfortable. They are truly our asset. We need to keep them comfortable. We need to keep them safe. We keep them in those barns to keep them safe. There are lots of things that there's predators out there in the wild, right? So we just need to keep our cows safe. We want to make sure that they have access to fresh feed We have a nutritionist on staff that we make sure that our cows are fed a very specific ration where all of their nutritional needs are met.
Now, there's something that kind of I skipped over when you talk about the breeding process, the baby cows and what have you. You guys specifically, there's a science behind it.
There is.
And it's I think, very important for people to know, because I think it's very thoughtful kind of across the board on people that consume your products. So tell us about that.
So I want to take 2 steps back. So we are a family-owned and operated business. And my brother-in-law, Leon McClellan, operates our dairy farm. He is the vice president of our dairy. He is there every single day managing those cows, being very particular about their health, about their nutrition, about their wellness, about their stage of pregnancy. And when it is time to impregnate a cow, they are artificially inseminated. We use a specific sexed semen, so we want to have female calves. And we are breeding with A2 semen. So A2 is a type of protein, kind of like blue eyes or brown eyes. It's a type of protein found in milk. The science has said that it is an easier protein to digest for most Americans, for most humans in general. And so we are breeding A2 semen that is intended to develop a female calf.
Okay, and then that A2, it's like for... you go to school, elementary school, all the way up through high school.
Yes.
I think in our region, we have chocolate milk, the regular milk, and strawberry milk that tastes like real strawberries. It's amazing.
It's good stuff.
But it's easier on the stomach, if you will.
So right now, our milk is all commingled, which means that other dairy farms throughout the state of Florida go in with our milk as well. So we have just commingled. But there is a science that we are trying to get behind to ensure that all of our milk is A2, which is easier to digest. And then we're also considering adding the lactose enzyme to that A2 milk so that it is lactose free, as well as so that's the sugars that are found in milk. They're easier to digest if you put that lactose enzyme in there. And then if you're starting off with A2 protein milk, which is easier to digest, we like to call it a perfect milk, because anyone that has any type of intolerance or discomfort when they drink milk, this should satisfy those issues.
Right, and every kid should be able to have milk.
Yes, it is
on top of their cereal.
They should have it all the time. Yes,
all the time with their chocolate cake.
Yes,
with their lunch at school.
That's right.
So, there's a lot of science. There's a lot of planning. There's a lot of care in all of this that fills one giant. So painting the picture of it, it's those reflective silver tankers.
Oh, on the
road.
That
could have on the road.
Yeah.
That could have all kinds of things in it. But that's what you fill one of those tankers every single day, correct?
We do. Our farm has 700 cows. We milk them 3 times a day. And it about fills one of those 6,000-gallon silver tankers that you see driving down the road every single day. Yes, that's what our farm produces.
And then it's taken to processing
plants. Yes,
and done all, and then it's packaged, distributed, whatever.
That's right.
So the important thing is the cows have to be milked 3 times a day. If anyone out there has been a mom, it's not something you can skip. No. And especially for the cows too.
That's right.
So what happens if the milk for some reason isn't needed? So I'll paint the picture of when we had double hurricanes. School was out for a very long time. When COVID, school was shut down for a very long time. So if that is one of your major partners that you're providing with milk, what happens to that milk? Where does it go?
Right. So most processors belong to a milk cooperative. And they are the people who are in charge of getting all the milk from the farms and distributing it to the processors that actually need it at certain times. And milk is a really complicated thing. And farmers get paid for milk once all the expenses have kind of been exhausted by the co-op. So they've got to transport it, right? So if our processing plant is down and schools are closed throughout the state of Florida and there's nowhere to go with that milk, they might have to take it out of state. So the farmers are on the hook for that milk because something has to be done with it. And if it's going out of state and those schools aren't out, well, they're going to need to make it into a lower class milk like cheese or something like that. And that, again, affects the utilization of our federal order and impacts farmers' mailbox checks.
Gotcha.
So when there is Florida milk that is available that is unable to get to the Florida consumers right here where we are, the farmers in Florida are affected negatively because they have to pay more for transportation.
Got it.
And they get paid less based on utilization, or higher class, they get less money. So it's really, really
hard to survive.
because they don't necessarily know.
Yeah.
They don't know, like, oh my gosh, there's going to be a hurricane. We need to work on reducing there's no light switch. Like you said, cows get milked three times a day.
If you have 700 cows, all 700 are providing. Now, there's a story, and I think this is a COVID story, which really, just because being in hunger relief, you know, we try to rescue everything. We try to make use of every single thing to make sure people have the nutritious foods that they need.
Yes.
It was called like dumping the milk.
Oh, yeah.
So that broke my heart, because that to me was children and families going without for every glass that was dumped. So tell us about that.
That was a really hard time. That was a tough time. And that is kind of one of the reasons why this relationship is so very important. And our legislation, Senate President Albritton, Commissioner Wilton Simpson, why this Farmers Feeding Family Bill is so important to Florida farmers. So during COVID, when we had an overabundance of milk and restaurants were closed, schools were closed, basically grocery stores were closed. I mean, even processing plants, there were some processing plants that closed because their employees couldn't get there or didn't feel comfortable getting there.
Right.
So all of that milk, even though you might have had dairy farmers or processors who wanted to donate it, the impact comes from the way that the milk pricing works. You still have to pay the market administrator the top dollar for that if you're packaging it. Even if you're giving it away, you still have to pay the premium for that. And it's an additional burden on processors that they couldn't do that and sustain that long term.
Right.
So although you had the desire and the want to donate it,
it's regulated and you can't.
Couldn't.
Yeah.
So that brought to light a lot of the way this relationship started, and getting in front of our legislation, making them aware. It's really obvious to see strawberries on the vine that can't be harvested, or tomatoes on the vine because you drive down the road and you see them in the fields. Well, milk is kind of not obvious until something like this happens. And education, getting in front of our legislators, getting in front of people who can help really is really important. And that's what happened. Is we got in front of the right people with the help of Feeding Florida, with the help of our legislation, just saying, look, dairy farmers are putting the same amount of effort into making milk year round. And if you need to keep them here and healthy and have milk during great times, we need to make sure that they're compensated when things aren't so great. And that happens every year during summer. And so what can we do to get farmers paid the cost to cover their commodity? And that's what this Farmer Feeding Family Bill is doing. It's keeping Florida, we're really getting into it. Next week, we're packaging over 20 loads that would have otherwise not been utilized. That we're packaging them right here in Florida. It's Florida milk. It's coming to Florida food banks, and it's getting to Florida consumers. And we are just so very, very grateful for that. And it's an important thing, and getting the message out there. So thank you for allowing us to get the message out there. Thank you for being a partner. But keeping Florida farms in Florida, keeping Florida milk in Florida, and getting it to Floridians that need it is super important. You know, to me, milk is the most perfect beverage. It is the most natural. It is the most nutritious. It has protein, it has vitamins, it has minerals. It is the most affordable protein source that you really can get out there. It's got a limited ingredient statement. It's milk and vitamins.
Right.
You know, it's got all of this nutrition. When you compare it to any other, even food and beverages that are out there, it is the most nutrient-dense, beneficially packed beverage there is. And it's important.
It's really important to get on tables and into homes.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, some of the conversations started here. We have this great guy, Pete, that's part of our procurement that has been, he and Mr. Simpson of Wilton Simpson are like this because of the conversations that were had and with Feeding Florida and what have you. And, you know, we talk about your dairy, obviously, and we talk about Farmers Feeding Florida, but that legislation is actually helping farmers that have vegetables, fruits, aquaculture, ranchers.
That's right.
So, this is, you see it all over the news that farming, ranching, all of those things, there's a great concern that people won't, be able to afford to keep up their ranches or their farms, and B, survive on it. So it went from generations staying in the industry
Yes.
to that next generation seeing the struggle and not wanting to. And these are programs that not only get the food on tables, but they also support the farmers to make their work, their effort, and their expense. Because, like, I took my dog to the vet and reeled, right, at what
Yeah.
it cost me. I can't imagine what it is to take care of 700 cows. So, I mean, you've got to think of all the expenses that go around making sure that you have this wonderful, cool cow product on the shelf.
Yes.
And all of the other Florida resources that we have with food. We are a
Yes.
really rich environment. We need to shop for Florida, fruits, vegetables, dairy, meats, all of those things, and kind of keep up with that.
Exactly right.
So it's been a 2-year journey. This started last July. We're coming up on a year. How's it going? Because I know for Feeding Tampa Bay, LFPA was sunsetted.
Yes.
And, we were like, wow, you're looking at the percentage of what that was providing for us to get into households. But then these conversations started, and leaders in our state and food banks really made a huge change that started last July. So tell me what difference that has made for you as a generational farmer.
It has been enormous. So first on the logistics side of it, so we've had a year almost to work our way into it. And we have what we call base milk loads that have gotten out to the 9 major Florida food banks, the 9 major Feeding Florida network food banks. Those food banks are getting it out to 2,400 agencies.
Yes.
And so we validated that the cold chain was in place, that the food banks could get it, that it could be successful getting from the farms to the processor, to the food banks, and to homes. Exactly. So we validated all that. Then when spring break came and schools were shut down, when Thanksgiving came, and then Christmas, and then spring break, we were able to rescue milk that would have otherwise gone out of state. And because those food banks had been prepared with standard regular base loads, they knew what to do with this surplus milk, and they got it to those who in need, who weren't getting it in school or who might not have been able to afford it during those certain times of year. And at spring break alone, 30 loads of milk were stayed in this state because of this program. There's nearly 100 loads of milk over this summer that are staying in this state because of this program. 100% because of this program. So what that is doing in terms of generational farmers, I would say 80%, probably more, of Florida agriculture in general is family farms, including our own dairy farm, and our own processing plant is family owned, it's family operated. And if we keep the farmers whole, and if we keep those families supported, we know that we have a wonderful state with lots of people, and we have a wonderful abundance of agriculture. If we can keep all of that going just like it is, it's a win-win-win. And we are going to keep families, their family businesses healthy. We are going to keep family farms here in Florida, because if we let all of that land go to homes, we're not going to have any locally sourced food. And then what is our cost of living going to do? What's our quality of food going to turn into?
Right.
It is imperative that Floridians realize that we need to keep our agricultural industry whole. Our legislation knows it, and they're doing this to protect it. And we just got to get the information out there, because once Floridians understand it, they're going to realize the same thing.
Well, and it's really interesting. Florida's approach is being studied by other states, because the truth is every state needs to take care of their agriculture, aquaculture, if you so have it, and all of that in the ranchers. So we're working really hard to sustain hardworking families, but then that outcome as well is having that milk on the table. Not only if I go shopping and I can grab a quart of Cool Cow, but for the kids, because it's a really foundation. I mean, I'm old.
No.
it's been a long time since I was in elementary school or I was in school at all. And those were, kind of my choices. And I also love how you make it more fun with chocolate and strawberry and all of the different flavors. So it's just amazing to me. It's stuff that I've learned, the regulations around food, the costs that hit the bottom line before it even leaves. So thank you for sharing that with us. There's a few things I want to get to know about you, though.
Oh, my goodness.
And I've asked you questions before. These are new ones.
Oh, boy.
Before, and I thank you for your time.
Of course, Shannon, thank
you're
you.
our farming expert.
I don't know about that.
You are. You are. And I love when you come. So coffee or tea?
If it's hot, coffee. If it's cold, tea.
You don't have iced coffee?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, I like cream in my coffee, and I like my tea sweet.
There we go.
Hot and cold.
That's a tea sweet is a Southern girl answer right there. I can get with that.
Do they make it any other way?
They shouldn't.
Exactly.
Sunrise or sunset?
That's easy.
Yeah.
Sunrise. Wow, I'm turkey hunting.
Turkey hunting.
Yes. Yeah.
That's another show.
Okay.
Well, I got a story to tell you about my son and turkey hunting.
Okay. I can't wait.
That's for another time. That's another show.
So yeah, I guess sunrise is easy. I love sunrise and anytime I'm hunting, but turkey season just ended, so yeah. They're beautiful.
Do you hunt for anything else or just turkey?
Oh, deer, alligator. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is a whole new, okay.
And we eat all of them, just so you know.
That is true. I know that because I've been in that world before, so there's some good recipes. Anyway,
yes,
I digress. Guilty pleasure food or meal. Like if you're going to go all out.
Guilty. So this is going to sound like so kiddie. I love pizza.
Do you know that that's one of the number one answers?
Really?
It's not kiddie.
It's not.
Because actually you can have a plain cheese pizza or nowadays you can elevate it to caviar pizza and everything else. So pizza
is my guilty pleasure. Yeah, I love pizza.
Okay. If you could create a new product under the Cool Cow brand, what would it be?
Is it cheating if I say that we just did?
It's not.
Okay.
So are you spilling some tea?
Well, kind of.
Okay.
Although it's out there just in trial phases and it's toward the end of the school year, but we literally just created a smoothie line. We have peach and strawberry banana that are already out there, but it's specifically for school food service.
Okay.
Because that's what we do, but it counts for the schools as 4 ounces of yogurt, so a 1 ounce meat alternative for their food program, and 4 ounces of juice. So it counts as 2 components for them.
For a healthy, balanced lunch and breakfast for the babies.
It's in an 8-ounce little bottle. It's cute as can be. It's a grab-and-go type item, so the kids can hop off the bus, grab a smoothie, get a whole grain, and they've got a meal right there. So
there you go.
Yeah, so I'm always thinking about new items, and we're always coming up.
I love that.
Yeah, so
You'll have to send me some photographs or some videos.
I'll show you when we get done here.
Was there a moment in your professional life or your personal life that stuck out to you that made food insecurity a concern of yours?
Yeah. I will never forget this very first Florida School Nutrition Association's annual food show that I went to. And this was probably nearly 20 years ago. I guess I lived a sheltered life. I never realized that there were children that went to school and the meals that they had at school were the only meals that they had. I had no idea that was a reality, and it is. It is an unfortunate thing. And, school meals get a lot of bad flack, but those professionals are putting healthy, complete meals on the cafeteria lines. They are feeding kids who need it. They are feeding them good meals. They are following regulations that change every single day, and they do an amazing job. So I am very happy with the job that I do serving schools primarily. I think it is a great thing. I work with some really, really amazing people. There was a gathering table event that we had with Florida School Nutrition last weekend, and it was a wonderful event. And those school professionals take what they do so very seriously. They want to make sure that they're offering whole, complete, natural nutrition to the very best of their ability to every kid. They want it to be fun. They want it to taste good. They want to offer them variety. And I feel like sometimes they don't get the recognition and the appreciation that they deserve, but I get to see it firsthand, and it's amazing.
Well, I think culturally too, like you talk about learning about that 20 years ago, I think culturally too, we've come into a place where balanced, healthy meals and understanding that those children don't have anything when they go home. And we have, as a society, we've kind of elevated to that. And it's a blessing. I thank you for once again coming all the way over to the food bake, which isn't that far from the process.
No, it isn't. Less than 20 minutes.
And then now we've got to have you back in for hunting, so you're a regular.
I love it.
I'm sure there are great videos and B-roll of that.
Yes, there are.
But thank you so much for coming back again, helping us understand really what that process is and how important the Farmers Feeding Florida program is to you, Feeding Tampa Bay, and our community.
Thank you, Shannon. It's been a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you, friend. So if you are interested in making sure that food makes it to the tables, that kids that normally fear summer instead of look forward to it have the food that they need, I want you to hit that subscribe. And until next time, thank you for taking the time.